from the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
Storm damage has shut down two popular parks in Marin County. We're live this morning with more on the rain's aftermath.
Plus, easing emission standards for cars and trucks, what the new rules may mean for California. And
later, politics and personal information. Phil Matier looks at exactly what Facebook was mining, selling, and giving out about user data. It's 6 a.m. on this Sunday, April 8th. Good morning, I'm Devin Fehely.
And I'm Melissa Caen. And rain caused some problems in the Bay Area this weekend. Flooding shut down part of the Great Highway in San Francisco. The Public Works Department says southbound lanes closest to the ocean are closed until further notice. And this in Marin County, do you recognize this spot? It's a popular trail on Mount Tamalpais called the Steep Ravine, and rarely do hikers see that much water rushing through the trail.
The storm also caused some damage in Marin County. In a Marin County neighborhood, a giant tree toppled over in Mill Valley and took out power lines with.
The wet weather may be gone. We'll talk more about the storm totals in just a bit, but it did leave behind some damage at two local recreational spots. KPIX 5's Neda Iranpour is live at Stinson Beach to let us know what visitors should expect when they head to Stinson Beach.
Well, Stinson Beach right now is actually open. The beach is, but the entrance is blocked off. You can see these barriers here at the entrance to the parking lot. That's because that entire structure collapsed. There's a creek that normally runs right underneath it, but that creek flooded on Friday night, and that's what caused that entire structure to come down. So we do want to show you some video now of what's left of the north parking lot at Stinson Beach. You can see where that asphalt is normally marked for parking spaces, and then you see the cliff. Locals say it has been eroding there for quite some time. And one person who lives here describes it as a mini Stinson Niagara Falls. She's referring to the creek there. The fire chief says they lost 150 feet of asphalt. But if you can make it here to Stinson Beach, just like we did, you are welcome to come and surf and enjoy the waters. Of course, it's going to be a clear, sunny day today. So he says although the park is accessible, it will technically be closed because the parking lot and another one are not accessible.
It's going to be a major repair. We're looking at some time before we get back to normal.
Maybe days?
Maybe weeks or even months.
Yeah, they do have a lot of work to do to try to fix that parking structure. Road crews along the panoramic highway that leads to Stinson Beach have also had their hands full. They've been clearing out and shoring up some small rock slides, but the road is open to traffic. We were able to take that road here, but also want to point out back here live, it's wet still. So about 24 hours after that storm has come through, we're still seeing some ponding on the roadways. So, of course, always take your time when you do see wet conditions like this. We're live at Stinson Beach. Neda Iranpour for KPIX 5.
New this morning, Pleasant Hill police are investigating a homicide. Investigators say they were called to Norse Drive shortly after 11 last night and found the body of a man inside a home. Detectives are offering few details, but they say the victim was shot several times and that the shooting may be related to a marijuana robbery.
Stabbing people!
One person is in custody after three people were stabbed at the Coliseum BART station in Oakland yesterday. Passengers were able to detain the suspect until BART police arrived on the scene.
There's three dudes on top of one guy. They're, kneeing on him, and the one BART officer that's in here is trying to put cuffs on him.
The station and the Oakland Airport connector were closed for about 2 hours yesterday afternoon. That meant delays for basketball fans heading to the Warriors game at Oracle Arena. Two of the three stabbing victims were brought to the hospital.
And a body has been recovered off the Mendocino County coast, not far from where an SUV plunged off a cliff last month. Authorities are trying to determine if it's one of the three kids still missing from the crash. The Sheriff's Department says the body, which bystanders found yesterday, appears to be that of an African-American female. A positive identity will likely be determined by DNA tests, which could take weeks. This new discovery is in addition to the bodies of two women and three of their adopted kids who were found back on March 26th.
We're going under the assumption at this point that Devontae, Hannah, and Sierra were in the vehicle, but we don't have 100% information to suggest other than our assumption that they were together.
The California Highway Patrol believes the crash was intentional. The two women were being investigated for child abuse after allegations made against them in Washington state. An autopsy on the body found yesterday is scheduled for Tuesday.
Developing this morning overseas, 2 people are dead and dozens of others are injured after a van rammed into a group of people in Munster, Germany. The city is about 300 miles west of Berlin. The incident happened outside a restaurant. Authorities say after the crash, the driver then shot and killed himself. Police raided the suspect's home looking for evidence. They say he is a German citizen and as of now do not believe he had terrorist ties.
The people are kind of scared, but they didn't believe that it happened in Münster because it's really secure here, and I'm also shocked.
Saturday's crash occurred on the 1-year anniversary of the terrorist attack in Stockholm, Sweden, when a stolen truck hit pedestrians, killing 5 people.
And National Guard troops are moving into position along parts of the U.S. border with Mexico, following an order by President Trump. Texas officials say 250 troops will be at the border by tomorrow. And in Arizona, the governor says about 150 will deploy this coming week. Now, the president says this is necessary to turn back the threat of unauthorized immigrants, drugs, and crime. Defense Secretary James Mattis has authorized funding to deploy up to 4,000 National Guard troops through September. California officials say they're waiting to see the details of the proposed mission.
In other news this morning, Facebook is admitting it's been secretly deleting messages sent by CEO Mark Zuckerberg. The company says it has been going on for several years with various people's inboxes, and the recipients of those messages weren't told. Since this has come to light, Facebook has announced it will soon give users an unsend option.
And San Francisco's Stonestown Shopping Center is about to get a new Whole Foods. According to the Chronicle, the grocery store chain is set to replace a portion of the closed-down Macy's at the west side of the shopping center. Mall officials say they hope to add a movie theater and more restaurants. This new Whole Foods is expected to open late next year.
And talk about a room with a view. For the astronomical price of $10 million, you can be among the first to book a hotel room in space. San Mateo startup Orionspan just announced it's launching the world's first luxury space hotel. The Aurora station will carry 4 guests and 2 crew members on a 12-day trip 200 miles up. The hotel will orbit the Earth every 90 minutes, giving guests the chance to watch the sunrise and sunset 16 times a day. The hotel plans to open for business in 2022, and rooms will be filling up fast. The company is already taking deposits.
And people who live in Dublin are sounding off about plans to build a large IKEA furniture store. The retailer wants to build a 340,000 square foot complex near Interstate 580 and Hacienda Drive. An open house was held yesterday to unveil recent changes to the plan and to get public input. Changes include replacing the large surface parking lot with an underground lot. And one of the main concerns is the potential effect on traffic congestion.
IKEA is going to attract additional traffic from the region, from Tracy, from Modesto.
We've lived in Dublin, for 44 years, and we've kind of watched the growth. And no matter what, you're going to have something there. Let's have something that is well planned.
One option being considered is to put the proposal on the ballot and letting city voters decide.
It's time for our final 5.
That's right. 3 people were hurt in a stabbing at the Oakland Coliseum BART station. It happened yesterday afternoon and shut down the station for 2 hours. Police say a suspect is in custody, but at this point, they're not releasing a name or any details about what led up to the attack.
Authorities in Mendocino County have recovered a body that may be one of the children who went missing after a crash along the coast. A family of 8 was inside the SUV when it plunged off Highway 1 last month. This new discovery brings the total bodies recovered to 6. 2 children are still missing.
75-year-old Colonel Carl Morrison was killed on Friday in a small plane crash in Petaluma. He served in the Civil Air Patrol since 2006. Morrison was heading home to San Diego County after a business trip in Northern California when the plane went down in a ravine.
Hundreds of National Guard troops are on their way to the U.S.-Mexico border. The teams are being deployed in 5 sectors to provide support for Border Patrol agents.
And a van that crashed into a group of people outside a restaurant in the German city of Munster has been removed from the scene. The driver killed 2 people and injured 20 others. Police said the driver shot and killed himself inside the vehicle. Officials have not released a motive.
Sunshine today, but more rain is on the way in the form of some spring showers. That happens midweek. For now, though, sunshine today and tomorrow. Temperatures climbing to near 80 degrees for the warmest spots inland on Monday, increasing clouds Tuesday, shower chances increase Wednesday, Thursday, and then we dry out towards the latter half of next week.
I can't wait. It's going to be great. Thank you so much for joining us.